on Cine on 5. Professor X, Magneto, Wolverine, Mystique, and Jean Grey aka Phoenix. These people with extraordinary powers are mutants, but even with good intentions, they might bring chaos. And when they turn bad, it brings massive destruction.
I can help you!
X-Men, X2, X-Men United, and X-Men The Last Stand. 3 X-Men movies, Friday to Sunday on 5.
Crime Watch brings you not one, but 2 traffic cases on Sunday. A hit and run.
She broke her elbow and her dog died.
With only a broken side mirror, how did the police catch the culprit?
Are you ready for round 2?
Watch how the police stop these illegal races from endangering others.
You're under arrest for dangerous driving. Cuff him.
On Crime Watch, Sunday, 8:30 p.m. on 5. Brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council and the following partners.
Tonight on 5.
Hello, I'm Angela Lim. You're watching News 5. In the headlines. Voting in the final phase of India's general election has officially closed, wrapping up a 6-week-long campaign. More than 300,000 seniors are on their way to becoming digitally ready through an initiative under the Digital Readiness Blueprint. And major redevelopment will only start in a few years at Tanglin Halt, but residents are already moving out and businesses report falling sales. And coming up later in the program, more of us are now reaching for reusable bags instead of disposable plastic in an effort to go green. But are they really helping the environment? Voting in the 7th and final phase of India's general election has closed. This wraps up a 6-week-long national exercise that's been shaped by unpredictability and dominated by several hot-button issues. Now, millions of voters across 8 states cast their ballots today. That's just a mere fraction of the 900 million people eligible to vote. Security has been tight in several regions amid fears of violence. In recent weeks, clashes have broken out between supporters of the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party and opposition groups. All of the votes cast will be counted this coming Thursday, with final results expected to be announced on the same day. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is seeking another 5-year term in office. But while his party fared well in the last elections, it's not looking so rosy this time. Pollsters say his overall majority is at risk. The election has been dominated by several key issues like rising unemployment, growing nationalism, and security challenges.
By and large, the way in which the middle class votes, the way in which women voters vote, the way in which young voters vote will determine the result of this election. It's very difficult to call out anything. And to that, the credit goes to the Indian voters. The Indian voter is keeping the political parties, the pollsters, all on the edge. The BJP has managed its electoral campaign in an impeccable fashion. It has been clinically organized and it has been executed. The narratives have kept on changing depending upon the local concerns, trying to build an all-India concern and consolidate the voters. There have been some issues about how the election, about the role of the election commission, how that plays out would be a matter of concern later on, I think, at the time when the results come out.
Elsewhere, Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison is on course to secure a majority government. There's been no official confirmation yet, but with just over 3/4 of the votes counted, projections by national broadcaster ABC show his governing coalition with 75 seats. That's just 1 seat shy of a majority. Now, Mr. Morrison bucked the polls last night to secure a shock victory. He triumphed over the opposition Labour Party, defying predictions that Labour was ahead in the race. Even Mr. Morrison himself hailed his win as a miracle. Meanwhile, Labour is picking up the pieces after leader Bill Shorten conceded defeat and announced his resignation. Mr. Shorten described today as a difficult day for all supporters.
Today is a hard day for tens of thousands of Labor supporters, members, rank and file, and for millions of Australians who were hoping for a Labor government. There's lots of lessons for Labor to learn from yesterday's result, and I know that my party will.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong has written to Mr. Morrison to congratulate him on his coalition's well-fought election victory. Mr. Lee said Singapore and Australia have a robust and long-standing relationship. They cooperate closely across a broad spectrum of areas, and their comprehensive strategic partnership signed in 2016 has deepened significantly. Mr. Lee said he looks forward to strengthening existing links and exploring new areas of collaboration, like in the digital economy. He hopes Mr. Morrison will make an official visit to Singapore this year for the annual Singapore-Australia Leaders Summit. More than 300,000 seniors have taken part in the Digital Readiness Blueprint, a nationwide program to get Singapore ready for the digital age. That's just slightly more than a year after its launch. And to reach out to more Singaporeans, the nation's largest tech carnival was held at Suntec City over the weekend. Nearly 20,000 people turned up. Here's the story.
We'll find out.
They're playing dodgeball, except there isn't really a ball. And this is what the future of sport could look with a touch of technology. This augmented reality dodgeball display is one of 70 showcases at the SG Digital Wonderland Carnival. And it's all part of efforts to get Singaporeans digitally ready.
Whilst we are undertaking this entire digitalization effort across the entire economy, it's also important that we raise awareness in the broader population and get people to better understand technology, demystify it, get them excited about it, and to be involved in using it in everyday life.
Visitors got to try out the latest gadgets, learn free coding, and attend hacking workshops. Non-profit organization Engineering Good is a beneficiary of a government scheme called the Our Singapore Fund, which supports ground-up initiatives that promote digital readiness. It conducts workshops that teach young participants to solve problems for people with disabilities, backed by engineering concepts and assistive technology.
We want to inculcate love for engineering, for STEM education, and to let them learn about and feel empathy from a young age.
There's also the Youth Innovation Showcase for students from local and regional institutes of higher learning. They showcase their tech prototypes with awards given to the top projects. Some of these include an anti-drunk driving solution and a blockchain-based food safety app. Formerly known as Tech Saturday, the carnival ends on 19 May.
Still ahead on News 5, we meet some everyday heroes who refuse to let Parkinson's disease get the better of them. Plus, about 200 low-income families get a skills upgrade amid the Hari Raya festivities. Tell you more after the break.
My Mitsubishi Electric StarMax aircon saves me energy and money. It's easy to clean and is so quiet.
When a pair of shoes means everything.
我只有那双鞋子，没有鞋子，我明天就不能上学了。
Lights, Camera, Singapore presents
我一定会替你找回另一双鞋子。
a magical film of family,
鞋子给你穿吧，
courage,
不要替我担心。
and sacrifice.
我拿到之后就会给你了。
Jack Neo's Home Run premieres Tuesday 10 p.m. on 5.
美好宴进入 on block 程序。
Will you ever part
我打死都不会卖掉房子的。
with your prized possession?
谁敢欠我就跟他没完没了。我有权利决定要不要留在这里。
Dear neighbor, Neighbors debuts 23rd May, 9 p.m. on Channel 8. Can't wait to watch Dear Neighbors? You can now catch it first on Toggle. This program is brought to you by main sponsor
5 things Daikin Daikin.
Co-sponsored by Sealy Posturepedic. Support you trust, comfort you love.
Time to transform every moment into a celebration. Download the ESPN app, and you can keep up with your favorite sports, your favorite teams, all the latest news, and even the live scores. Everything you need is just a tap away, whether you're at breakfast, in dull meetings, or on your way to a game. Because it's a platform made for all sports fans to celebrate life's greatest moments. Anytime, anywhere, all within the lines of the ESPN app.
I love you for being there for me.
I hate you!
I love you for never giving up, even when it hurts.
Okay, here comes the main event.
Vegetables again.
Home cooked food is good for you. Come. Didi, come.
I love you for always having their interest at heart.
Okay, enough. Time to study.
But just 5 more minutes.
Okay, 5 minutes after you're done with this.
I love you for doing what is right, not what is easy.
Right?
I love you for being the dad that you are.
Welcome back to News 5. It'll be several years before major redevelopment begins at Tanglin Halt, but life is already draining out of the over 50-year-old estate. As residents have started to move out, businesses say sales have fallen over 20%, and some plan to shut way before their leases expire.
This clinic in Tanglin Halt has been around since 1964, before Singapore even turned independent. And its 86-year-old doctor Chan Kai-meng says he's since treated 4 generations of patients. Stepping into the clinic takes you back 5 decades, but its days are numbered.
A lot of my patients have moved out from this area, so there's a drop in my practice. And I'm also not in the charge, I'm also not in the pioneer. So the rest of my patients are on this system, they see the other doctors now. So I think it's a good time for me to stop. Most of the time I have to cough up some money to run the place.
He'll be closing for good at the end of June, even though his lease is until 2024.
Shop owners tell me that Tanglin Halt is now only a shadow of its former self, as residents are progressively moving out of the estate. And that's because 31 blocks of these HDB flats around me have been chosen for the selective en-bloc redevelopment scheme, the largest such project in Singapore so far.
The scheme, also known as SIRS, rejuvenates all the estates like this with a complete makeover. And so far, about 1 in 5 of some 3,400 households have moved out. That's according to businesses and a local volunteer group, My Queenstown, which is lending a hand to residents moving out. With fewer living in the area, business has taken a hit.
A lot has started moving because either they say they are too old to wait for the new flat, or so they move to all those ready estate to move in. So we have seen a drop of maybe 20 to 30%.
At least 6 shop owners CNA spoke to say the same thing. Of about 50 shops here, some say they'll pack up when footfall dries out. That may not be too far away, as replacement flats to house residents elsewhere should be ready at the end of next year. CNA understands shops near the food centre have to move out by 2021, but those close to the market have until 2024 or so. To some, it's a chance to call it a day.
之前的话会有一点伤心，但是现在已经慢慢适应了，因为有给我们10年的通知，所以我们的这个心情哈已经算是说准备有心理准备，反而不会会觉得说配合我们的年龄也可以休息了，可以退休。
But for this veteran and many others, closing shop is a tough pill to swallow.
I spend more time here than I spend in my house. When some of them heard that I'm going to retire, 1 or 2 of them even cry, they feel so sad. Actually, I also feel sad. I miss the place, the people, and this area.
Tanglin Halt is not alone. Across Singapore, the page will also turn for 4 other areas currently undergoing SIRS.
Amid rising US-China trade tensions, Communications and Information Minister Sangameswaran says he hopes both sides will work out their differences to reach an equilibrium. And on Singapore's part, he said that it's about going back to basics, and that means diversifying markets overseas, deepening capabilities of companies, and ensuring that workers remain skilled.
In some ways, this is not new for Singapore. As far as the government is concerned, we have always emphasized the fact that for Singapore, we need to focus resolutely on the fundamentals, whether it's at the economy level, at the enterprise level, at the individual level, and I would add at the societal level in terms of ensuring we remain harmonious and cohesive as a society.
Mr. Iswaran made these comments at the Buddhist Fellowship's Vesak Day celebrations at the Chui Hui Lim Club today. He joined more than 300 devotees observing various ceremonies to mark the birth, enlightenment and death of Buddha. Turning to health, did you know Parkinson's disease is the second most common neurodegenerative disease in Singapore? That means 3 in every 1,000 people here above the age of 50 suffer from it. But some patients refuse to let the condition get the better of them. Here's the story.
Mention Parkinson's disease, and uncontrollable shaking of limbs comes to mind. But it's not just that. The symptoms can extend beyond movement, causing problems with sleep and moods. 55-year-old Jason Fu has been battling the disease for more than 10 years.
I have to take medication every 3 hours. And even this 3 hour I take, there's no guarantee that I can last for the next 3 hours without any motor disability.
Despite this, Jason tries to stay active and has taken up drumming, an exercise that's designed for patients with Parkinson's. Support from his wife and 2 sons in their 20s gives him strength every day.
Physically and mentally, she's been really support. When I'm down, she's going to pull me up. When I'm physically not able to dress myself, she's going to help me.
Like Jason, 68-year-old Lillian Sim doesn't let her condition get her down.
The other one is like a samurai drawing a sword.
The former personal assistant to a CEO keeps going by exercising daily with a stretch band recommended by her physiotherapist.
I was diagnosed in 2011 and I had to make some lifestyle changes to keep myself more flexible and happy, because you can be quite depressed being told that you've got Parkinson. You try and encourage yourself, because you're no use to anybody if you're unhappy and depressed.
Lillian says her husband, who also has Parkinson's, boosts her morale, and she his.
In other news, Deputy Prime Minister Heng Swee Keat has spoken about the greatest challenge facing Singapore and about the country's economic and housing policies in an interview with a leading Swiss newspaper. It was conducted on his recent visit to Switzerland, where he attended the St. Gallen Symposium. Mr. Heng said Singapore's biggest challenge is to build a sense of unity amid tremendous changes going on in the world. And this will only be possible with good governance, keeping politics constructive and making hard decisions for the long run. Asked if there should be more political competition in Singapore, Mr. Heng said the country has free and fair elections, which the PAP has won by delivering on its promises. And as to how crony capitalism is avoided, he said it's down to proper governance, not interfering in state and sovereign wealth funds, Temasek and GIC, and having strict laws against corruption. Turning to economic growth, Mr. Heng said the government has important roles to play in a free market. It has to set rules to give investors certainty, provide critical infrastructure, and invest in education and research. Finally, answering questions on 99-year leasehold housing here, Mr. Heng explained that this was a rational way to ensure home ownership while being able to renew the land asset. Coming up on News 5, do you use reusable bags? Well, having too many of them could actually hurt the environment. The full story when we come back.
Weather report brought to you by Mitsubishi Electric.
Tonight, the natural world is full of fantastically small animals. But these are not the underdogs that you might think they are. In fact, they deal with challenges in their own unique ways. Some are even better than large animals.
The dung beetles can push balls that are 10 times their own weight.
They may look delicate, but they're certainly not fragile. In many ways, these incredible creatures are rather mighty. Super small animals. Tonight at 9:30 on 5.
Think Big Leadership Business Series, a masterclass keeping you plugged into the digital economy, is back on 23rd and 24th May. Industry leaders will share insights on emerging trends in the web that can disrupt your business. You will also learn how Asia will be affected by the US-China trade war. More importantly, discover the kinds of financial help available to help you adapt to these changes seamlessly. Visit our website now to find out more. Registration closes 22nd May. Brought to you by Canon. Business can be simple. Organized by Mediacorp.
Next on Makan and Migrants.
Thank you for your life, that I could do business. Today is a very special day. Chris is what I call a nuclear cockroach. I've bled, I've got burned, I cried in the name of being a lechonero. His need to succeed, he'll never die.
How did Chris bring the little-known story of a Filipino roasted dish into Singapore? On the Red Dot, Friday, 9:30 p.m. on Channel 5.
Want to take your business further? Mediacorp TV and Video Connect demonstrated the power of video advertising to over 500 companies. Mediacorp's network of TV, digital video, and now YouTube gives everyone a clear competitive advantage. From useful insights into the secrets of super video commercials to a grand draw with over $150,000 worth of media value.
我很高兴赢了大奖，我会继续支持 TV and Video Connect.
This is my second year with TV Connect because we see our brand CINQ saw a 60% growth, and now is the #1 foaming cleanser in Singapore.
It's without a doubt that TV and Video Connect has helped reach our target audience and helped build our business branding. Hence, we have now opened our 5th outlet for our customers in Singapore.
TV Connect has helped III to reach out to the masses, and we have been with TV Connect for the past 2 years.
Take your business further with the power of TV and video now. Only with Mediacorp. Call 6333 9888 or email mae@mediacorp.com.sg.
Welcome back to News 5. 200 low-income families got to learn something new today through free workshops and courses at Wisma Geylang Serai. That's thanks to a joint initiative by Malay community organizations MUIS, Mendaki and Mesra, also known as M-Cube. It's the latest effort under the annual Touch of Ramadan campaign. The activities are aimed at helping families improve their lives amid the Hari Raya festivities. They range from children's educational sessions like this to booths that teach useful skills like making body soaps.
Today we use the opportunity to reach out to them and tell them that there are many opportunities for them to upgrade themselves, for them to learn about new skill set that can fit them into new job possibilities. The message we give them is that you can lead a more independent life, you can uplift your standard of your families, look after your children if you work together with the community.
Green products like reusable bags are becoming more common with growing awareness of the harmful effects of disposables. But is going green really that green? We find out.
It's pictures like these that have made many people sit up. That plastic straw bag that you throw away kills and maims. It's not the first time plastics have been found in animals, and it certainly won't be the last. An estimated 8 million tons of plastic waste or more end up in the oceans each year. That's equal to dumping a garbage truck of plastic every minute. But awareness about using less plastic is growing.
We do see a lot of customers bringing their own reusable bags at the supermarkets to bag their groceries. Even at restaurants, we see they have stopped offering plastic caps and straws for the drinks.
These reusable bags are definitely in now. They come in all shapes and sizes.
What happens these days is, in many events, conferences, and I would say sometimes even universities are guilty of it, we find that they give away a lot of things, including reusable bags. And most households now have way too many reusable bags.
30, 31, 32, 33.
Did you expect yourself to have so many bags?
Didn't expect myself to have that many. Actually, there's more inside.
So where did most of these bags come from?
I mean, random places here and there. I don't remember. They have been collected over the years, so I sometimes forget they exist.
Having many may not necessarily be greener. According to Professor Vish, not using a reusable bag often enough could actually be more damaging to the environment than throwing away a single-use plastic bag.
If you buy cotton bags, you also need to look into account how the cotton was cultivated. Cotton also requires a lot of water for cultivating it. There can be land use impact because of that. So if you buy a green good and make sure that you actually use it long enough, then the impact can actually be lower.
Reusable bags like these are often seen as more environmentally friendly than single-use plastic bags. But not many people may know that a polypropylene bag like this would have to be used at least 37 times in order for it to have less of an environmental impact than a single-use plastic bag. That's because it takes more energy to produce them. Other alternatives may not necessarily fare better. A study by the Danish government found that you need to use these greener bags this many times so that it's more environmentally friendly than a conventional plastic carrier bag. Plastic bags are generally being incinerated after they are thrown out. But what about reusable bags? Do these have a higher chance of being recycled? To find out, I headed over to a plastic recycling facility. Plastic scraps from shrink wrap and packaging material are broken down and processed in this machine. These are the final products, resin pellets that can be used to make plastic bags and other products.
Hi Jane, thanks for meeting me. Okay, so I brought a few bags today and I wanted to check with you whether they're recyclable. Could you take a look for me?
Yes, this is a recyclable green bag. Recycling would depend on several factors. Definitely the incoming cleanliness of this scrap material and the volume that is coming in as well.
From a recycler standpoint, is this a material that most would consider taking in? Is the current volume of green goods coming in sufficient?
I don't think we are doing that much Go Green bags at the moment to be able to put it into a recycling program.
And I get the same reaction from other recyclers.
We need to evaluate whether we can take in green bag because of the tedious of the process. Yeah. There's a process that actually includes water treatment, and the water treatment process is very expensive. The end product that come out probably will not be viable because of the process. The cost is too much for customer to take in.
Which means that many green bags might end up in the bin and incinerated along with the rest of the single-use plastics. Professor Vish says one way to get around this is by getting designers in at the start of the production process. Some green products are made up of many different materials which may not be ideal for recycling.
Currently, the challenge in recycling for the manufacturers is it's not worth it because the labor cost is too much. And if the waste stream actually comes very mixed, the design of the product has to take into account that it can be recycled later.
Producers might also have to think more about aesthetic in order to get people to actually use the bags.
I don't quite like the design, so yeah, unless I actually do like design, I tend not to use them.
Still, at the end of the day, Professor Vish says people should only take or buy what they need.
Whether it's green or not green, one has to be conscious to make sure that you buy only what is required and you take only what is required, even if somebody gives it to you free. But if you accumulate too much, then if it's creating new products, new additionality to the environment, then clearly it's not a good thing.
Only when people realize this can marine life be free of plastics.
Definitely some food for thought there. That's News 5. Thanks so much for your company. I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good night.
Download the Toggle app now and catch up for free.
I don't think I can do this.
If you can't stand up from a chair on one leg now, you risk not being able to walk in your 70s. If you're in your 40s or 50s, stop this from becoming your reality. Act now to stop muscle loss and gain strength. Take the Stand for Strength challenge. Visit standforstrength.sg. You could lose muscle with age. Choose Ensure Life with HMB for everyday strength.
Tonight on 5.